Hey yogis, I'm Nicole. Welcome back to my yoga time. Thanks for joining me today. Today's yoga snack, we're going to focus on quieting a busy mind. So we'll be moving through our yoga postures, both restorative and dynamic, coupled with our mindful breathing, our pranayama, and also an acupressure point as well, about halfway through the class. So the best way to quiet a busy mind, either on or off the yoga mat, is to witness the breath. When we witness the breath, the volume on the mind chatter turns down. It's natural for the mind to jump from thought to thought, from scenario to scenario, but we always have a choice, whether we attach to those thoughts or whether we remain the witness. So in this practice, it's quite prop heavy. I do have a yoga bolster. If you don't have a yoga bolster, you can grab 2 pillows and stack them on top of one another, or a really thick blanket and roll it up nice and tight. I've also got 2 yoga blocks and a yoga strap. So if you don't have a yoga strap, you can improvise with a belt or a tie, anything that resembles that shape. When you're ready, let's begin. Recruiting your bolster, your pillows, or your blanket and laying it across the short side of the mat. We'll commence with a laying side bend. So we want the bolster or the prop right underneath your ribs, and make sure you can rest your right shoulder on the mat and your head. Now, if your head doesn't meet the floor with ease, you can always use a block underneath. Make sure that your head's not hanging. It needs to rest. So we will begin with both knees bent and both palms touching. Let's place the very tip of your tongue where the teeth meet the roof of the mouth. A little space between the top and bottom teeth. The jaw is relaxed. We want to feel a gentle tone in the back of your throat for Ujjayi breath. Any concerns with your left shoulder, keep the left palm where it is, don't move the arm. Otherwise, as you inhale, let's slowly lift the arm above the head, tracing the fingers along the floor. A moment to pause, and then exhale to lower down. So there are 4 parts to the breath: the inhalation, the pause, the exhalation, and pause. So when we're witnessing the breath, let's try to witness all 4 parts. Try to move slowly. Slow movement, slow breath. Maybe that arm can come back a little further each time you lift it. And if it feels good, feel free to do a few more rounds. Otherwise, come to stillness when you're ready. If the left shoulder's happy enough, keep the arm above the head. And if you'd like to go a little deeper, you can always straighten the legs here. You might even like to take Chin Mudra, connecting the index finger and thumb through the right hand. Let's rest here for just a few breaths. Witnessing the breath in the side body. We always want the inhalation to expand the body from the inside out. If we are overstretching, if we're overstraining, then the breath will be inhibited and we won't feel that expansive inhalation. Your breath is your barometer. If you can't breathe, you're going too far. In your next exhalation, let's lower that arm down. We're going to press up to tabletop, coming onto all fours. And we'll take a little ITB stretch here. Raise your left leg and take it over to the right. Toes are tucking under, looking over your right shoulder for your left heel, pressing into the hands, the hip, and the heel. And let's bring that leg back in, changing sides now. Resting with the bolster underneath your left ribs, palms to meet. Keeping the hands there if that right shoulder's not happy. Otherwise, as you inhale, lifting the arm up overhead. A moment to pause before you exhale. Keeping the tongue in position. Option to hold that right arm above the head if that feels comfortable. You might even like to straighten the legs. Can you witness the next 3 breaths? On your 3rd exhalation, lower the arm down. Again, press up to tabletop. We'll take that ITV stretch on the other side. Right leg lifting, over to the left. A little bit of resistance, pressing down into the palms. Great work, yogis. Come back to center. Let's just slide the bolster to the side. We won't need it for the next little while. But do bring your strap to the top of the mat and both of your blocks. So let's have the outer edges of the blocks meeting the outer edges of the mat. We're going to take our palms to the blocks. Heels of the palms are meeting the edge, and your thumbs and pinky fingers should wrap around the outside edges of the blocks, depending on how long your fingers are. Let's tuck the toes under. Inhale into your back bend. Exhale to round the spine. Keep moving with your breath. Either staying here or as you exhale, keep the spine rounded as you lift the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Holding here as you inhale. And then exhaling, knees return to the mat. Holding this downward facing dog. Let's inhale, right leg up. Look forward and step through into a lunge, and then take your blocks to the highest height, having the hands underneath the shoulders. Drop the hips a little. So your heel or your ankle is underneath the knee. And here you want to feel like you're trying to squeeze the feet towards one another when you're in the lunge. Then as you exhale and move the hips back, point the right toes towards the ceiling. Gently fold over that leg. Inhale into your lunge. Exhale, forward fold. Last one. From here, we'll transition into Warrior 3. You can step your hands forward with your blocks if you like. Option to keep your hands on your blocks, or maybe take one hand to the heart, or both hands. If both hands have come to prayer, press the palms together, roll the shoulder blades back onto the spine. Slight tuck of the tailbone, lower belly drawing in. So often if we have a busy mind, if we've had a stressful day, it will reflect in our balance pose. Those challenging days are the ones to practice your balance. Let's stay strong in the right leg, coming up with the left knee, nice and high. Option 1 is here. Option 2, we'll take a twist. Right hand to the outside of the left knee, left hand behind you. Try and create a little bit of resistance here between the hand and the knee. Breathe. Well done. Come back to center, hands to prayer. Utkatasana, chair pose, bending both knees, weight sinking back into the heels. Let's come all the way up, bring the arms up in front. Inhale. As you exhale, fold forward, sweep the arms past the body, fingertips to point to the ceiling. Inhale, halfway up, bring the arms with you, thumbs point to the ceiling, little bend in the knees. And then as you fold, you can ha out the breath. Take a hold of your blocks and bring them back underneath the shoulders. Right leg back. Let's move through that flow. Hands on the high side of the blocks, underneath the shoulders. Exhaling into your forward fold. Be careful not to overstretch or overstrain. Stepping up now into your warrior three, either keeping the hands on the blocks or testing your balance. Coming all the way up. Optional hold here or take your twist. Again, just a little bit of resistance between the left palm and the outer right knee. Back to center, chair pose or Utkatasana. Coming all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Fingertips up towards the ceiling. Inhale, half lift. Arms up in front. Ha out the breath as you fold. Bring your blocks back. Take a hold of your strap. Step your left leg back for warrior one. Have those feet about hip width apart, pressing into both feet as you come to stand. So your back foot's on a 45-degree angle. If there's any concerns with your knee, your ankle, pick up the heel, make it a high lunge instead. So we'll have the feet about hip width apart. You can always go wider if the hips are tight. And we're holding onto the strap here. So if your shoulders are tight, your hands are going to be further away. We want to pull on the strap. As you inhale, bend in the right knee, warrior one, lift the arms up, drawing the hands away from one another, rolling the shoulder blades back onto the spine. Then as you exhale, straighten the leg, lower the arms down. Inhale. Pressing into both feet as though you're trying to stretch the mat. Let's hold the last one here. Gentle lift through the chin, move the throat forward, again pulling on the strap. Even weight into both feet. Inhale. And as you exhale, let's lower down, strap to the floor, pick up the back heel, make it a high lunge. Now your block's there if you want to use it. You can place your left hand on the block or you can go to the floor. We're going to twist, right arm up towards the ceiling. So strong and straight in your back leg, pressing into both feet. And gently turn this left shoulder in a little towards the knee to bring the twist a little deeper into the upper back. Option one, stay here. Enjoy this twist. Option two, if you've no concerns with your shoulder or wrist, side plank. Roll into the outside of your left foot, stack the right foot on top. Here you want to feel as though you're drawing your left hand towards the foot to switch on your obliques. Shoulder blades roll back onto the spine. Heart shines towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, return to plank. Downward facing dog. Left leg up. Look forward, step through. Prepare for warrior one, ground the back foot on a 45-degree angle. Take a hold of your strap, strong and straighten the legs as you come all the way up. When you're ready, inhale, exhale. Last one, hold it here. A little bit of resistance on the strap. Stretching the mat with your feet. And exhale, lower down. Coming into your twist, right hand to the block or to the mat, left arm up to the ceiling. Either hold here or take your side plank. And you almost want to feel as though you're trying to turn the heel of the right palm in a little and press into the pads of the fingers. It's going to create a little more muscular support around that delicate wrist and elbow. Inhale and exhale. Let's return to plank. So from your plank, you can always lower those knees to the mat if you need to. Let's bring the body forward, round out the upper back, tuck your tailbone under, and make sure those elbows brush the ribs as you come all the way down to the mat. Let's keep the hands under the shoulders. Tailbone can tuck under. Inhale, lift the legs and the chest. Try and draw the hands back. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Last one. And then we'll take rest as you lower down. Turn your head to one side. Rest the hands next to the body. Palms to face the ceiling. From here, we'll press back into a child's pose. So you can choose to take the knees wide, big toes to touch, or you can keep the knees together. So knees together, you'll feel a deeper counter stretch through the back. Hips will feel more of a stretch if those knees are wide. So up to you. Let's round the back before you sit back. We'll keep the arms out in front, forehead to the mat. And let's lift up the palms and the elbows. So it's just your fingertips on the mat and just little baby pulses through the fingertips. Draw the shoulders back towards the hips. And let's lift up, tabletop once again. Bring those knees in under the hips. Coming into an upper body twist now, threading the needle. Right arm underneath the left, bring the ear to the mat. Let's keep the left elbow pointing up towards the ceiling. Left palm is off the floor, just those fingertips touching. Chin mudra through the right hand, firming the right arm down. Either staying there or for a little more heat, straighten the left leg and then hover that foot up off the floor. And let's lower that knee down, changing sides now. Gently squeezing the shoulder blades towards one another. So you're active here through the shoulders. Option 1 is as you are. Option 2, straighten the right leg. Hover the foot up off the floor. Well done. Lower that knee down. Coming all the way up now, let's take a seated position. Just a few moments to work with a pressure point on our foot. So we're going to work with the kidney point number 1, which is on the sole of the foot. So easiest way to find this one is if you dorsal flex the foot, pull the toes back towards the knees, and then just in the sort of underneath the ball of the foot in the middle, you'll feel a little hollow. So it's pretty much in between your big toe and your second toe, just at the bottom of the ball mound there. A little depression, a little hollow, and for most of it, it's a little tender, so you'll know when you've got the spot. So with your pressure points, you can either make a circular motion or you might move your thumb just up and down. And massaging the spot from anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes is good. So as mentioned, this is the first point for the kidney meridian. And this particular point is a great point to really ground the body. So if you're all up in your head, busy thoughts, it's a great one to stimulate. It's said to be therapeutic for headaches, insomnia. So often when we're all up in our head with those crazy thoughts, we can feel as though we've lost a sense of direction or a sense of purpose. So this point's also said to be therapeutic for increasing your clarity and vitality. I'm going to move to the next foot, but you can take longer there if you need to. So again, dorsal flexing, looking for that hollow, that little depression, pretty much in between the big toe and the second. So I think taking the time to work with your pressure points from time to time is a wonderful way to look after yourself, a little self-care. So if you find when you come out of a yoga practice or a meditation that you're a bit lightheaded, a great spot to help you ground. So this particular pressure point is called bubbling springs. So if we take a moment to consider those natural bubbling springs in nature and how they nourish Mother Earth, much like this point can do for us, working with the water element of the kidney meridian, helping to ground us, improve our vitality and clarity. Now I am going to move on to the next pose, but if you want to take longer with that pressure point, by all means you can pause the class. I'm going to recruit the 2 blocks here, taking one block on the second height and the other block on the highest height, making pretty much a T shape. So the top of this lower block is going to meet the top of my shoulders, highest one is going to meet my head. And we want the highest block, the very edge of the block, to meet the base of the skull. Now you might choose to keep your knees bent if you're feeling a little catchy in your back, otherwise just straighten and relax those legs. Now we're only here for a short time. I want you again to move with the breath. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly let the head fall to the left. And as you inhale, come back to center. Exhaling over to the other side. So you're feeling the back of the head roll against the block. We have lots of nerve endings in the head. It should start to feel like another self-massage. If you'd like to do a few more rounds, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, coming to stillness when you're ready. Breathe into the heart center. And let's release the pose, bending in the knees now, turning the palms down, tuck in your chin, come halfway up just to place those blocks off to the side. Returning to your back. And you might like to take a moment with those knees bent, feet as wide as the mat, knees falling into touch, or maybe you have the urge to hug the knees into the chest. Take whatever counter stretch you need and take as long as you need to there. When you're ready, you can lower those feet to the floor. We're going to recruit our bolster once again, lifting up the hips and pulling the bolster in underneath your bottom into your supported bridge pose. Option to keep your hands by your side, or if the shoulders permit, take the arms overhead. Option 1, keep the knees bent as you are. Option 2, only if it feels okay for your lower back and your hips, take butterfly legs. Bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees fall out wide. Be with your breath. Let's bring those legs back together now. Lifting up both feet up towards the ceiling. So if you need to adjust your bolster, maybe bring it just a touch higher towards your shoulders. Feel free to do so. So legs up towards the ceiling. Let's inhale out nice and wide. And as you exhale, bring them back together. If you're tight in the hips, take a reclined pigeon here. Left ankle to the right knee, holding onto the right leg. Option 2, you'll cross at the thighs for reclined cow face pose, Gomukhasana. Bending the knees, pressing the thighs. Draw the knees to the chest. Maybe you can hold the ankles, maybe even the outer edges of the feet. Breathing into your lower back and the outer hip. And let's unravel those legs, straightening them once again. We're changing sides, inhaling out nice and wide. Exhaling other side. Either taking your reclined pigeon or your reclined cow face pose. And when you're ready, unraveling those legs. Let's straighten both legs again, and this time allow the legs to fall towards the head as far as you can comfortably go. There's no right or wrong. You might choose to keep the hands on your bolster, maybe hold the legs, or if you can reach the feet, take a hold of the feet. Do not overstrain. Try to breathe into the back side of the body. And let's release. Lower those feet back down to the floor. Try and lift up the hips and the heels together. Roll the bolster down so it's behind your knees. And we'll rest in Shavasana with the bolster behind the knees. So let the legs fall heavy. Take up as much space as is comfortable. Tucking the shoulders under. Allowing the palms to face the ceiling. You might like to take Chin Mudra once again. Index finger and thumbs to connect. So I will guide you into Shavasana yogis, and then I'll leave you here today. Please take as much time as you need to. It's a very important pose where all the positive effects from your practice assimilate in the body. If you did enjoy the practice, please do like and subscribe, dear yogis. It's the best way to support free yoga. Soften the forehead. Allow the eyes to roll back. Tongue and jaw relaxed. And feeling the meeting points between the back side of the body and the mat. Feeling that support behind you, underneath you. Take a deep inhalation and pause. And as you exhale, give in to gravity. Be soft. And just be in this spaciousness.